Take two. I mean, what? So this is Built My Life. I guess thankfully because this is my first video recording with you guys. Let me just start off with some general basics first. For the most part, you'll find me using 1-5-1 in my left hand. So I would generally recommend when you like do chord inversions, right, not to, right, you'll notice that my right hand doesn't move at all, playing through those 4 chords for the most part. It's just like a step down. Right, I generally don't like hopping around with my right hand, but left hand I think it's fine because you want to establish the root. Right, and so unless it's a chord that says like E over B, for example, in the chorus, there's none beside you, open up my eyes. Like for example, unless they specifically outline it, I would say stick with the root because that establishes a lot of what you're building off of. So 1-5-1 in the bass always, and you stack whatever inversion you're doing on your right hand on top of that. Well, that's some general things. So again, 1-5-1 in the left, and with the right hand, try to keep your chord formations compact with one another. Not too much stepping up and down. Not like a... Right. I think keeping it compact is more smoother. Granted, you could be like stepping up and down. I like maybe like hopping completely at some point to add more variety. But you would find for the most part, if I hop, I won't hop all the time. Unless I don't know the song though. So to start, this is pretty simple. It's a very rhythm, very chords based song. I'd definitely recommend following the chord sheet for this one because it's pretty accurate for the most part. So we can start with kind of like the intro, like. And so you find the, so this part is my own fabrication, but I don't know if it's in the actual recording. I think it is. So yeah, so again, like it's very, not that much movement, especially in the first bit, so. Every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. So that first verse is very just straight chords, blocks, right? And I think I'm building with my top note always being the E. Right. So again, you'll find that adding E, even in like a chord such as B, which doesn't have an E in it, right? That's actually a fourth. It technically creates a sustain, so B sus, right? And again, you'll find that when you add things like, for example, a second, like a fourth, like what we just did. In those chords, they actually build a lot of, I guess, what I like to call tension. But that tension is very musical almost, and it asks for resolution in a sense that like you want to end with like a tonic, for example, or something like that. But again, it's like I would like suggest maybe trying it out, like just keeping the tonic E, right? Oh, by the way, this song's in E. I didn't previously outline that, but yeah, keeping a tonic, right, and playing through the other chords, right, and I mean, in my case, I want to keep it with the E at the top, but I mean, you don't have to, but it will help you discover other variations of the chords. So there's that. We ended just in the first verse. We live for you. And this is where you start adding a little bit more rhythm. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Worthy. Right. So what kind of happened there is, it's like, whoa, that's suddenly a lot more. You want to build up more in a sense that that's also where like the cajon comes in with like the bum, 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 right? But kind of what's happening, at least for the left hand, right? It's like, and I honestly couldn't tell you what this rhythm is. I can't count it to you because I can't count 1, 2, 3, 4 while playing this. Like, it's too complex for my brain. But this is, you'll find I actually use this a lot, even in like fast songs. Like, we'll find out later if we do another one of these. But 1, 2, bum, bum, bum. So that's like a very common syncopation of the left hand that allows you to build a lot with the right hand. And basically what you're doing with the right hand is just filling in gaps. So like, and that also allows you to kind of like mess around because you have that bass to set it all. And so you'll find when I play with the right hand, sometimes it's on the same note as when my left hand comes down, sometimes it's not. Generally, improv, it's like also, the easy way to do it is to just say, you fill in the gaps rhythmically, or play it where you don't expect it to be played. Add more syncopation, add more variety to the rhythm itself. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. And frankly, I think the reason why I'm recording this or like doing this as a video is like, it's a lot easier to learn it as. Where you're following just like what you're hearing. And instead of like trying to like learn it theory-wise, because I feel like for me, I've always learned everything by ear and kind of just applied it. I was like, oh, this sounds good. I want to add this to what I'm doing, right? So I'll try to keep the improv a little to like less of a too much, and maybe record a separate rendition with all the improv built in. So here goes. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, holy. There is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. I I guess some other notes I want to add. You'll find when I like, I'll sometimes crash my improv more as chords as well. And I think that works really well for this song, especially if you're just trying to mix in rhythms. So like you have like the, and one thing I just noticed while playing was I do a lot of 1, 2, 4 shapes. So 1, 2, 4 here is like B, C sharp, E, right? And I'm playing that with on top of an A chord, right? And then, cause like it's a lot of between E and A, right? So I'll do like a, so and then, and you notice I do the same exact thing, 1, 2, 4 with the E, with the F sharp, G sharp, and B. And that sounds kind of nice. It's more meaty. It adds a lot to kind of like driving the song forward in that sense. The other thing is you'll find that when I do these things, I kind of tend to standardize it together when I feel like, oh, this sounds good. I'm just going to keep on doing it. And that makes it a lot easier for you not to like find too many things to do rhythmically. And then it allows you to also choose your spots for improv, like a lot of it. Right. And what you have is like a, so you find like a, so this will be like 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and, okay, it's probably bad counting, but like, and then 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and, so like in that sense my ands are my left hand at those points, like that kind of like, that's kind of what I'm doing to simplify down the rhythm in that sense. So that's kind of like, okay, now I guess I can do I'll just start now from the bridge and go back into the chorus, like where it's like loud, right? So usually for the bridge, they fade out. I trust your musicianship to figure out when you should fade out or not. Just listen to the recordings. But like, so we get to the bridge, right? So like, pretty standard. So you notice I'm playing like another derivative of that kind of like syncopated rhythm I was doing earlier in the left hand. And you notice that it's falling in between when I play the, and see, it's again like you're filling in the rhythm like spaces in that sense. So I guess now if I launch in the song, I like, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your that's kind of like a sample of what that would be like. One thing you notice is when we like further build up, right? First thing I do, I switch to an octave with for moments like these, you also have like guitar and other things to like stack with you. So you notice you actually don't play that many tones. And it sounds kind of empty in that sense, but it covers a broad range. And because it's a part where like everyone's singing, there's like a lot of other instruments also combining with you when you build up. It's like okay for you to kind of leave those spaces tonally. Doesn't sound as full, but I think the desired effect here is volume and volume generation and like a broad range to generate that. So you notice like up top, right? Because that means I'm out of the way of the vocal ranges. I'm out of the way of the guitar, which is generally around here. So it's actually a bad habit for me to actually play in here all the time. I just like it because it sounds nice, but it also muddles with guitar sound. So if you do it up here, that's like, it's clear from guitar sound, right? And it's loud, people can hear it, and they know that it's part of the theme for the song, right? And you'll notice like at some point, after I do this once, I'll drop down an octave on bass. And the bass, you'll notice like, a good move always is that if you need to add an extra layer or something, if you haven't been playing in like the lower regions, you can switch down. Because of the octave, you still get enough of the upper where they know that it's the same note, but the bass drives a lot more meat into it. It's like a lot more of a meatier sound, adds a lot more volume, a lot more I guess like substance to the noise that you're generating. So and you notice here that when I do this, it's just my thumb popping off the entire time. Yeah, that's basically how it goes. And I guess those are like all the notes I can think of, kind of like off the top of my head for a song. Definitely not comprehensive in terms of what I did, but I think we can like start layering in more of like, oh, different improv bits that I like to do like maybe in a separate recording or something. But that's kind of like the general song notes for this song. So yeah.